President Tinubu receives United States Secretary of State Blinken issues of mutual interest bilateral relations top agenda.
A rerun election conducted in one polling unit or a handful of polling units can severely be disrupted.
We are going to deploy according to the threats.
INEC and security agencies meet ahead of February 3rd by and rerun elections across 26 states.
It is unfortunate that the first attempt didn't succeed.
Information Minister talks on digital switchover as he receives Bond Working Committee. Hello and welcome to the news. I am Olajide Bello, and joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komi Akere and also Abdullahi Ajia for African Updates, and as well Benny Adams on the business news segment. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live via our website nta.ng/ our other social media handles displayed on your screen. The United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is this Tuesday arrived in Nigeria. Upon arrival through the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, he was received by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Toga, Foreign Affairs Chief of Protocol, and U.S. Embassy Charge of Affairs, and others. He held a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House. The details will come in the course of the bulletin. President Bola Tinubu says his administration will continue to provide the needed interventions in the oil and gas industry in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA). This is when he received a delegation from the Chevron Corporation led by Mr. Clay Neff, President of Chevron International Exploration and Production at the State House. President Tinubu says Nigeria will strengthen its long-standing partnership with the multinational company in line with the evolving dynamics in the oil and gas industry. The president welcomed Chevron's commitment to build on its investments in shallow and deep water operations in Nigeria, noting that the company's ongoing $1.4 billion drilling project with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NPCL). He also commended Chevron for its dedication to reducing its carbon footprint in the country. President of Chevron International Exploration and Production, Mr. Neff, pledges that the company would continue to operate in full adherence to the highest standards, even as it meets its investment commitments in Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has assured traditional rulers in the South-South geopolitical zone that his administration is committed to addressing their concerns over development and environmental degradation. President Tinubu gave the assurance while addressing members of the South-South Monarchs Forum who visited him at the State House. The details will also come in the course of the bulletin. Nigeria has been commended for efforts towards the promotion of open and accountable management of oil and gas and mineral resources. This is as the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, a global transparency body, scores Nigeria high during a working visit to Nigeria. Benny Adams reports.
All eyes are on Nigeria, and issues of transparency and accountability are on the table.
There should be absolutely no such barriers for any of the data that the EITI is producing or that is produced in the framework of the EITI process, such as the beneficial ownership information.
Contrary to some opinions, the Global Extractive Transparency Body says Nigeria is not doing badly in areas of beneficial ownership disclosure, which reveals who owns what in the oil, gas and mining sector. This is in addition to efforts towards ensuring that revenue from the sector is used for national economic growth and poverty reduction, but frowns at the low level of stakeholder engagement through a board which stands dissolved as at today.
There is a lot to celebrate from this report, and you can see that clearly here. Nigeria, we all have a strong foundation to build on. The way NTA has established itself as a mechanism for not just transparency, but also for accountability and for stakeholder engagement more generally.
Immediately the report came out, we have developed a comprehensive response in terms of draft action plan to address areas of gaps in the industry, which we'll be discussing with the companies, civil society, and government.
Dr. Oji Ogbonnaya Oji promised the delegation of a better outing in the next assessment, which is scheduled for January 2026. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Now talking election and security matters, 9 by-elections and 39 rerun elections will hold in 26 states on February 3rd. And the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, have promised to use the elections as litmus test for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections coming up later this year. This was during an interagency consultative meeting on election security held in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
When you see the top rank, you know the issue is of topmost concern. 9 by-elections, 39 rerun elections, scheduled for February 3rd, 2024. Death and resignation of candidates induced the by-elections, while court litigations arising from the 2023 general election responsible for the 39 rerun elections. They may not mean that much to many, but for those officiating, it is a great deal.
A rerun election conducted in one polling unit or a handful of polling units can severely be disrupted by acts of thuggery, knowing fully well that these few locations will determine the outcome of the election.
We have conducted threat analysis in all the 26 states where election is going to take place, and we are going to deploy according to the threat assessment.
Strategic planning for post-election security is crucial in maintaining law and order, prevent post-election violence, and address any security challenge that may arise following the announcement of election results.
After the February polls, Edo and Ondo states will be on the watch and preparations on speed. Edo governorship poll scheduled for September 21st, Ondo November 16th. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, has ordered the posting of Assistant Commissioners of Police to head the Intelligence Department of the force at zonal and state command levels nationwide with immediate effect. A statement by the force says the posting is to improve the effectiveness of the Intelligence Department in addressing crime rates in the country. Meanwhile, the IGP has tasked the newly appointed senior officers to deploy their intelligence-based assets and professionalism in combating crimes. And away from security matters, a renewed and strategic emphasis on value-based leadership across all spheres is required to fast-track Nigeria and indeed Africa's socio-economic transformation. Former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon stated this when he led a delegation of African Biblical Leadership Initiative to the office of Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at the Villa. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Even at 89, General Yakubu Gowon marches on with vigor as an advocate of positive values driven by faith. He is here at the Presidential Villa on one of such missions, leading an 8-man delegation of the African Biblical Leadership Initiative, ABLI, to brief the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu on the 2024 International Conference of the initiative slated to hold in Abuja between October 22 and 24 this year.
The theme of the ABLI 2024 conference is value-based leadership model for Africa, with the following sub-themes. 1. The value of justice.
With its emphasis on empowering African leaders with truths that can foster integrity, the ABLE International Conference presents Nigeria another opportunity to promote value of wisdom, integrity, and social harmony.
To me, it's a question of either praying and appealing to the various individuals who are really engaged in this criminality, to really think of the evil that they're doing to society, and to see how they can really change.
Well invested in youth development herself, Nigeria's First Lady is particularly delighted that the international conference is taking the youth along to give them proper mindset. She says leaders must reinforce the message of hard work and integrity to lead the youth in the right direction.
Because there's so much we in the Christendom, I would say, have been feeding, the youth with that are not really particularly healthy.
She called on Christians in the country to always show love and religious tolerance, noting that President Bola Tinubu's administration is a liberal government that works for the good of all Nigerians.
And if we show love, that's how people can come to Christianity, because that's what Christianity is all about.
The First Lady is expected to attend the international conference as a special guest of honor. Established in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 2010, the African Biblical Leadership Initiative has held its international conferences across major African capitals, including Kigali, Nairobi, and Yaoundé. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Given time and sustained implementation, the reforms embarked upon by the federal government will bring about positive transformation of the country. A former Minister of Information and National Orientation, Professor Jerry Gana, stated this in an interview with State House correspondents on the margin of a courtesy visit to Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. Professor Gana describes efforts by the current administration to rebuild the country as fundamental.
I want to congratulate government in these reforms because they are very fundamental. They touch the basic issues of society. And if we sustain it, there will be a transformation. So we support these programs that should be sustained. And those who are giving Nigeria a bad name should think again, because it will carry them nowhere.
The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, says it shared a total sum of 1.127 trillion naira to the 3 tiers of government as federation allocation for the month of December 2023 from a gross total revenue of 1.674 trillion. From the stated amount, the federal government received 383.87 billion. The states received 396.69 billion. The local government councils got 288.92 billion, while the oil-producing states received 57.91 billion as a derivation. Chaired by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madein, the meeting indicated that a sum of 62.254 billion was allocated for cost of collection and 484.568 billion was allocated for transfers, interventions and refunds. The balance in the excess crude account ECA as of January 23rd, 2024 stands at $473.754 million. You're watching the Network News. We take a break now. More reports when we return. Many thanks for being there. Now, joining us via Zoom is our State House correspondent, Musbah Dawahab, who is with the Minister of Foreign Affairs to fill us in on the purpose of the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State. Musbah, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Olajide. Welcome to the State House, where Mr. President Bola Tinubu just received the United States Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, who just left the State House a moment ago, and they went into a bilateral session discussing a number of issues. Now, I have with me Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, to talk to us about what happened between President President Bola Tinubu and his guest this evening. Thanks.
We're sorry about that technical hitch. We will definitely re-establish contact and go back to Musbah for details. Okay, let's go back to Musbah.
Issues between the two nations, ranging from food security to pharmaceutical production to agriculture to security as a whole.
Right. So from now, Nigeria and U.S. have been having bilateral relations for years now. So where else are you taking these relations to? Are we looking at some new developments to come up between the two countries?
Absolutely. We are looking at more investment in the field of agriculture, for instance, and food security. We were talking about improved seeds, actually seeds that originated from Africa that are almost extinct, that are no longer in use, but that the U.S. has. And the yield for such seeds are much better than the yield for the rice and wheat that is more common. So we're looking at that. We're looking with regards to pharmaceuticals. We're looking at malaria, drugs being produced here locally, as well as other drugs, vaccines, because we saw what happened during the COVID pandemic. When countries pulled up the drawbridges, everyone was fending for themselves. And the U.S. is offering to help, to assist. And then, of course, you have Development Finance Corporation and U.S. Exim Bank. So they're looking to do more, to invest more, and to also assist with technology with regards to security, with regards to even artificial intelligence, for instance. So, so that we can secure our country more. And then, of course, we also have exports to the U.S. So we're looking to improve that. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Briefly, during your briefing, you talked about Nigeria-U.S. summit coming up very soon in March. What is that bringing onto the table?
It's actually not a summit, it's a binational commission. It's something that is already in existence because a summit is between two leaders. So this is at the ministerial level. Of course, work goes on during the course of the year or 2 years even at different levels. And then the crescendo is when at the ministerial level you have the meeting of the commission to synergize all the progress that has been made during the course of the year or 2 years.
Sure, Nigerians will be waiting to see what comes out of these relations going forward. Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, Minister of Foreign Affairs, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jide, that has been it. The Secretary of State, United States, has just left the State House, and Nigeria is just one of the 4 African countries he has visited. And remember, he has visited Cape Verde, Ivory Coast, and Nigeria, probably now going on to Angola. Thanks a lot for your time.
Many thanks, Musbah Danwahab, there for your input. Many thanks. Moving on, the Ministry of Information and National Orientation has received a draft report on national values charter designed to promote citizens' aspirations to nationalism. The Minister, Mohammed Idris, says this is a step towards national reorientation. Saliu Gwanara reports.
With this document, all is now set to unveil to Nigerians the guidelines and direction towards a rebirth of values that will, among others, review and promote social contract between the country and its citizens.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu intends to build a united, peaceful and prosperous Nigeria that will take a rightful place in the Committee of Nations.
The policy expected to be unveiled this year by President Bola Tinubu has a soft spot for the youth and will be inculcated into formal, informal, and vocational educational policies.
Indeed, that is why when this committee was being set up, you see young people also involved. Now, the idea is that we don't just leave it to the elderly or to the older ones to decide the future. After all, the future belongs to the young ones.
To move from our various divides, we need to establish and promote shared values.
Value charter issue, as we know as Nigerians, is a critical component of any sustainable development in the country. And I think the minister is right in focusing on that.
These, they all agreed, will address the challenges of diverse ethnic and cultural beliefs and deliver a unified nation with a unique value system. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
All is set for the Tinubu's administration to make a major policy pronouncement on the digital switchover project in Nigeria. This came to the fore when the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, received members of the Central Working Committee of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, led by its chairman, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos. Saliu Gwadara again reports.
Less than 2 months in office as the chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, who is also the Director General of NTA, is walking the talk as he promised to work with all stakeholders to advance the interests of the broadcasting industry in Nigeria and ensure that BON remains a credible and influential voice in the media landscape.
That the collaboration that exists between BON and of course the government should be sustained so that the government agenda will be achieved. We know we have the capacity, we have the experience, and of course through collaboration we'll be able to achieve much more than one can think of.
The minister assured that their passion for the broadcast industry is in line with the vision of the government.
I want to tell Nigerians that the DSO, meaning the digital switchover, will work. There is just no going back. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given a marching order that we do not have any excuse not to deliver on the digital switchover for Nigerians. I've said it in several places that there's actually no reason why the DSO should not work here. It is unfortunate that the first attempt didn't succeed, but I want to assure you that we are working very hard, extremely hard, to see that the DSO is delivered to Nigerians responsibly, honestly, and transparently.
Government, the minister added, will expand the scope and create an enabling platform for the media to thrive.
Government will not take any unilateral decision with the intention of harming anybody that is out to practice journalism.
The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria is the umbrella body of all broadcast media outfits in the country. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And Abdullahi Ajay is standing by with African Updates. Abdullahi, what's a match we expect to see between Nigeria and Cameroon on Saturday, don't you think?
Thank you, Olajide. Nigeria, Cameroon are familiar arch rivals, and that hostility will be renewed again come Saturday in the knockout stage of the Africa Cup of Nations. Let's begin with the stories for today. Nigeria will meet arch rivals Cameroon in the second round of the Africa Cup of Nations. 2017 champions, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, left it late against the resilient Gambian team to secure a 3-2 victory at the State Walkie. Cameroon opened scoring in the 56th minute through Karl Tokore Kambi before Gambia responded in the 72nd minute with Abel Jallo. The Gambians came minutes close to qualification for the second round of 16 when Ibrahima Colley put them ahead in the 85th minute. However, James Gomez's own goal in the 87th minute gave Cameroon a lifeline, and victory was well secured in the first minutes of stoppage time by Christopher Wall. Now, our defending champion Senegal secured a second half goals for a 2-0 victory over Guinea to maintain their 100% record starts in the tournament. Abdoulaye Seck seized the opportunity in the 61st minute to put the Teranga Lions ahead. Guinea pressed for an equalizer but were undone in the 90th minute when Elman Ndiaye made 8-2 to qualify Senegal as group winners into the next round, where they will face one of the third best placed teams. Let's also tell you that the late kick-off for tonight in the tournament is ongoing in Group D. At the moment, Mauritania without a win is taking on 2019 champions Algeria, who have 2 points from 2 matches, while group leaders Angola, who already gathered 4 points, are up against the Stallions of Burkina Faso. For Wednesday fixtures, the last set of group stage matches at the Africa Cup of Nations around on Wednesday, with teams observing a 2-day rest on Thursday and Friday before round of 16 fixtures on Saturday. In Group E, at Stade San Pedro, Brave Warriors of Namibia on 3 points will keep dreams alive and need maximum points against group leaders, the Eagles of Mali, if they are to qualify from group stage. 1996 champions Bafana Bafana of South Africa are up against 2004 champions Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, who are currently bottom of the group with 1 point. Now let's flip to Group F. Group F leaders Atlas Lions of Morocco on 4 points meet Chipolopolo of Zambia on 2 points. This very open group, where any of the 4 teams could still qualify, will see Leopards of Democratic Republic of Congo on 2 points, way up Taifa Stars of Tanzania. That's the much we have on AFCON update. I'll be handing you over to Adiola in Lagos for the continuation of Network News.
Thank you, Olajide. As affected traders at Mandela's building on Broad Street in Lagos are yet to come to terms with their losses, Lagos state government has begun clearing out shanties and other illegal structures that obstructed firefighters and other emergency responders quick access to the scene of the inferno. Joel Bobola has the details.
This is what is left of the popular Mandela's building. A closeout damaged by an inferno has changed the narrative of a major landmark on Broad Street. This has slowed down business activities, with the affected traders yet to recover from the traumatic experience, even as insurance brokers are carrying out assessments of the loss.
I was in the hospital since Sunday when I heard the incidents. And even at like this now, you can see inside that place, we can't enter our shops. Like this now, I just have to start up life afresh. And it's really affecting me badly.
So insurance is a mechanism that is available to all of them. Unfortunately, for those who are not insured, this is a lesson that will go a long way.
2 days after the incident, firefighters from the state and the federal government are still ensuring that the source of this thick smoke is completely put out. Fire incidents, though preventable, is inevitable, and prompt access to such sites is imperative. This is what informed the demolition of these stalls, which made Mandela's building and its surrounding areas inaccessible. The Lagos State Commissioner for Urban and Fiscal Planning says integrity tests will be carried out on the Mandela's building.
Definitely the building is going to be assessed by way of checking the structural integrity. If it's found below standard, the necessary thing will be done. What we are doing now is to effectively clear all the access points to all the major multi-story buildings.
Security operatives have cordoned off the area to prevent breakdown of law and order. In Lagos, Joel Mukbola, NTA News.
Removing Nigeria from the list of nations with high number of out-of-school children, educationists say calls for intensive advocacy program and enforcement of laws that guide assessing education at the basic level. This came to the fore while reacting to the multifaceted challenges facing the educational sector in Nigeria. Larry Bilei has the details.
There are peculiarities to challenges facing education in Nigeria, depending on the region. According to educationists, their research findings showed that contributory factors to primary school absenteeism in the northern part of the country include low level of parental education, insurgency-fueled conflicts, gender inequality, low income, perceived poor teacher performance, and distance to the school. While in the southern part, the high cost of education, poor teachers' welfare, decreasing students' interest in education, ill-equipped educational infrastructure, especially at the grassroots, for example, libraries, laboratories, are all pointers to the challenges facing education.
Governments need to take decisive decision about those who have refused to send their children to school or those that are not in school because of insecurity in the country.
This syndrome of getting rich quick and people are being celebrated without knowing the source of their wealth is people to say, why should I go to school?
With the present administration moving towards a knowledge-based economy, championing of digital economy is the new vista. Education becomes essential to unlock potentials to drive these visions. Key players say it won't be overnight, but the time to tackle these challenges is now, with commitment from the ministries of education at federal, state and local government levels, while the society plays its role with sincerity of purpose. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
And it's a wrap from Lagos. The network news will continue in Abuja. Olajide is back to you.
Thanks for being there. One of the major needs of irrigation farming is the provision of adequate amounts of water at the right time to ensure sustainable agriculture, which remains the desire of the present administration towards achieving crop sufficiency for food security targets in the country. Abasme Kanu examines the situation of dry season farming activities in the state.
Season farming is the practice of planting and cultivating crops in Nigeria, usually between the month of October and March. In Gombe State, farmers depend heavily on irrigation system to water their farms in the dry season. Dadinkowa is one of the areas with high level of dry season farming activities that houses the famous Dadinkowa Dam with irrigation capacity of over 30,000 hectares of farmlands.
Farmers have already started, especially those who are cultivating wheat. They have gone far in all the wheat cultivating areas in Gombe State, as well as rice and maize. The level of involvement of this federal government cannot be quantified.
Extension agents to guide all these farmers have been trained by the federal government. So the states have contributed a lot. The state government is even ready that even if there is any counterpart that they are going to give, they will support.
The farmers cultivate wheat, maize, rice, guinea corn, millet, and vegetables in addition to various types of fruits. According to the farmers, dry season farming remains the best solution to boosting food security, especially in wheat, maize, and rice production. Dry season farming is said to be an expensive venture, hence the need for government intervention to encourage all year-round farming, create more jobs for youth, and boost food security. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum says all internally displaced persons camps will be closed down before the end of his administration, as government is poised to resettle all displaced communities. The governor stated this when he took the resettlement project to Lugumane and Ngala local government as part of a one-day engagement in Dipwa Emirate. Mohammed Goni reports.
9 years of displacement had led to deterioration of the mostly mud houses in this community, in response to which Borno State government constructed 500 houses allocated to the 500 returning heads of households. In addition to the houses, each head of household also received a bull and a cow, a bag each of rice and maize and household items, as well as 50,000 naira, while each of their spouses received 20,000 naira. The beneficiaries described their resettlement on their ancestral homes as a pleasing development, having stayed in IDP's camp for close to a decade. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum appreciated the federal government and donor partners for contributing to the Stabilization Strategy Fund through UNDP and urged the returnees to develop resilience by remaining in their community and engage in livelihood activities.
We are trying to address the root causes of the insurgency, which is reducing poverty. People who are living in the IDP camp for about a decade, depending on handouts from governmental and non-governmental organizations. And this is not sustainable. Today we have seen a sustainable solution, which is resettlement of people back to their communities in a dignified manner.
Shehu of Dikwa, Ibrahim Ibn Umar Ibrahim El Kanemi, Senator representing Borno Central Kakashau Lawan, Member representing Bamangala Kala Belge Zainab Jimba, Member representing Gala Bukar Abacha, and Gala Local Government Caretaker Chairman Abdurrahman Abdul Karim collectively expressed gratitude to Governor Zulum for the fashion to resettle all displaced communities and urged the returnees to reciprocate the gesture by being committed to a better post-insurgency life in their community. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Now let's join Benny Adams for the business segment of the news. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide. And talking business, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite, is galvanizing private sector support towards increased production and exports of rubber amid plans for a production roadmap. This is as the minister received in audience a stakeholder delegation led by the Secretary General of the International Rubber Study Group from Singapore.
Nigeria has potential across 80 states in Nigeria to grow natural rubber.
Produce a national rubber policy and strategy for 10 years. This will give the nation a focus and direction and attract investors into our business space.
We want to see that strategic plan that you've initiated take place and take hold in Nigeria. We are in dire need of reinvestment and investment in the rubber industry and the entire value chain.
And taking a look at the market, investors smiled at home with 1.56 trillion naira as the all-share index advanced by 2.97%. The market traded higher by 2,848.85 points to close at 98,616.97 basis points. The market capitalization also recorded a gain of 1.56 trillion naira. The total volume traded advanced by 3.56% to close at 747.51 million, valued at 16.28 billion naira and traded in 16,589 deals. Transcorp was the most traded stock by volume with 77.71 million units traded, while Dangote was the most traded stock by value with 3.11 billion naira units traded. At the close of trading, the market recorded 17 gainers, 56 losers, and 47 remained unchanged. That is Business News. Network News continues after this break. Don't go away.
Glad to know you're still there. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy, has identified with the rescued girls kidnapped in Buhari Area Council of the FCT recently. During her visit to the girls in an undisclosed hospital where they are receiving medical attention, she expressed dismay at the trauma the young girls must have gone through in the hands of their abductors, especially witnessing the killing of some members of their family. The minister thanked God for their survival while comforting the girls and their parents over the loss of 21-year-old daughter and two others. The minister donated some food items to the family in addition to other assistance. Up next is the weather forecast.
We expect a series of dust episodes in the next few days that should drop visibilities to its minimum values, starting from the north down to the southern region. This satellite picture shows dust plume over Chad Republic, which is expected to traject into the country and by Wednesday leave the north and the north-central cities in moderate dust haze condition. Patches of cloud with haziness is expected over the southern region, with chances of early morning mist and fog patches over parts of Lagos and Ogun. We also have prospect of evening thunderstorms to parts of Delta and Bayelsa. A reflection of the forecast can be seen on the air quality index. And for temperatures, we don't expect much change in nighttime temperatures. Let's take a look at the forecast.
And that's it on the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.